All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the barn. This is the live video feed. We're about to go live for a quick podcast. We've been hanging out for another Men of Mindset 3. This is 3, right?
3.
Okay. That's scary. So, and then in 2025, we'll see how many more we do. So it's snowing outside. Let me hit record here so we don't waste any more time. And we're going to jump right in for a Live the Fuel podcast. Going live. All right, good day, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Live the Fuel show. We are back in the barn. That's right, this is the new second studio environment. And there might be some drinking involved. There may have been some steaks involved. There's definitely men involved. And we're hanging out in the man zone. So, yes, for those of you who follow the podcast for a long time, earlier this year I launched 2 other Men of Mindset themed events. We've had anywhere from, I think the last couple, what, 5 to 6 guys, maybe?
I think the first one we had 6.
Yeah, maybe 6.
Right.
That's
the second one.
That's Rob Eschbach, one of the co-hosts for today. And the last time we did these, we've had everybody from, shout out to Brad Modric, Andre Young. He's traveling back from Missouri right now. He was doing public speaking for a company out there. Wes, he's promoting his book launch, probably speaking somewhere right now too, or having family obligations. Ed, he's probably running Union and Finch restaurants, so he was trying to get here tonight. And there's been a lot going on. But we got Rob Eschbach back in the house from F13 Performance. We've got Brian Strausser in the house from, that's right, Strausser Home Improvements, who's done my own mantle of my fireplace. He has led me to Eric and other people improving lots of things in my house, because my house has been a hot mess of upgrades and improvements, not including the barn, which, by the way, for those of you who watched the video, Brian's responsible for framing the first phase of the first floor walls. So actually, you're sitting in front of your own work. So
that I am.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
And
to thank you as well, because it wouldn't be a podcast from your man zone if we didn't thank you for your meat, Scott. Scott always...
We're going right for the meats. Going right for the meats. There's no hesitation.
Of meat when you come over to his house. Super awkward, but it was very tasty.
Actually, that came up last time. Mulvaney meats. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for your meat, Scott.
I would like to thank all the grass-fed beef out there. We appreciate how wonderful you taste, and how amazing that your flavors waking up when I sear you with a tallow bath. That's right. That's what I did tonight. Tallow bath on both sides, with a nice heavy rub of salt on both sides. We did a 3-minute sear at 550 to 600 degrees on the grill, with then a switch to the top rack of a 2-minute low cook on both sides as well, with a reinforcement from Rob to confirm that grilling session. Then we did a 5-minute rest indoors while we continued another beverage session. I believe they turned out quite nice.
There you have it.
Are we okay?
They were solid.
You okay?
Very solid.
Brown, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Chris.
You sound like a game show host, man. I love it.
I've been at the mic for a while. So, and yes, for the newer listeners, Chris Seidel in the house, the newest addition to our Men of Mindset Fund, a multi-entrepreneur. Is that the right way to say it? Because you own multiple companies. Or are they all under one?
A dual? I don't know.
Dual?
Yeah.
Dual. Dualpreneur. Dualpreneur. I like
There we go.
dualpreneur. So it started with, go ahead and catch the audience up.
Clam and oyster business led into a retail seafood business.
Right. Now the clam and oyster business, though, was commercial, right? That was mostly like distributors, wholesale outfits.
Wholesale, pretty much.
Okay.
And now we're a retail business, and just kind of, the whole
If
thing.
you ever need a connection on that, remember, I don't know if you remember this. So right across the street right now, my neighbor Joe, his girlfriend moved up from Baltimore. Her name was Rocio. She was the head of HR of that seafood company in Baltimore that you were selling
J.J.
to.
McDonald, I think it was.
I don't remember the name of the company, but she now lives here. So,
Okay.
Small world. By the way. So that's what I love about the Greater Lehigh Valley guys. Like, you never knew. We had so many overlapping conversations tonight between, the infamous Jen, former neighbor, client business relationship of mine, bestie of my wife. That's where my wife is hanging right now. She has showed up at your gym with her ex-husband and current boyfriend, recently ex-boyfriend. All the things. Brian, you haven't worked on her house yet, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Not that he's
It's
aware
all
of.
starting to become a blur at this point. I'm 50 now, so I don't remember a whole lot.
That's right, yes.
One thing that has changed since I've been on here before, I've turned 50 now.
Yes. I was there a few nights ago. Little
Good work.
housewarming.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate
Yes.
that.
Thank you for the invite.
Made the trek.
Was your wife surprised I showed up?
My wife doesn't get really
No,
surprised.
I don't think she cared.
She's as crazy as me and you. And nothing phases her.
I will say, everybody here tonight, we're all married. except as far as the one big difference, I'm the kidless guy because that's how my wife and I roll. But Chris, 5.
5.
Rob, 3.
3.
Brian,
3.
3. 1 directly yours, 2 through marriage, right?
Correct.
There we go. Lots of wives and children.
All about the kids over here.
Yeah. If my wife was here right now, she would actually confirm that sounds exhausting, just to say the least. So, but hey guys, we wanted to just fire up the mics. I went live here on the Live the Fuel channel on Facebook because I'll share this to the personal feed too. But this will be airing before the end of the year as a new episode, just because. Dude, it's been a wild year. I wanted this to be a shorter format because I don't smoke cigars very often, but I got the fire pit roaring up there, and it's snowing, and it just seems right. And I brought some cigars back from Costa Rica. So yes, Mr. Health Nut is going to go smoke a cigarette and enjoy it with his scotch. But that being said,
Part of health is enjoying life.
boom, owner of F13 Performance just spoke in on that. So let's expand on that,
Okay.
right? Because this show is,
Yeah.
we fuel your health, business, and lifestyle. I designed it that way because health should always lead those things. You own the damn gym.
I
Let's
do.
go.
Well, I enjoy a cigar, or a glass of wine, or scotch, or beer, whenever.
Well, to be fair, your wine is bourbon influenced
Oh, yeah.
wine, so I
Yeah,
like
2
that.
for 1 deal.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, no, I think you. What's the point of working out all the time and being healthy and active if you can't enjoy what you want to enjoy, like enjoying your kids? I went to a water park the last 2 days, up and down stairs hundreds of times. You know, being active and being healthy and working out should be part of you enjoying life too. So I think smoking a cigar,
Yeah,
it's okay.
yeah,
Having a glass of wine, go for it. Beer, have at it.
yeah.
As long as you're not having 10 glasses a day, or missing work, missing time with your kids, missing family, missing out on life because of that. You
I'll
know,
go with that.
I think there's no reason to limit yourself from enjoying things you want to enjoy.
I'll drink to that.
Actually,
There you go.
salute, gentlemen. There we go. There are some podcasts that I pay attention to where they do a little toast. So yeah, let's go ahead and toast early in the show. How about that?
Cheers.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I've had, actually, it's funny you said that, Rob. I'm going to go ahead and throw a quote out there because I've had a tug of war with the quote. It's been around for a long time. You've heard it many, many times. Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. Okay?
What are your thoughts? Let's do a round table on this. Because that can be taken good and that can be taken bad. And I think this is important because a lot of people right now are getting ready to set their New Year's resolutions, which I've never been a fan of.
Nope.
And then what you just explained, right? We're trying to live life to the fullest, and it's okay to have the occasional fun thing, but then still hold yourself accountable and push hard and succeed in life. And
Well,
I think people take advantage of that quote.
Let's talk about the New Year's resolution thing. I mean, that's
Yeah, there we go.
like the
I don't do
moderation
it.
thing. Yeah, let's
I don't
dive
do
into
it.
that. So there's nothing wrong with a New Year's resolution. If you feel that's the best date or day for you to start something fresh or start something new or make a change, then that's great. Tomorrow also might be a great day. You don't have to wait for New Year's. But if you find, you have a million excuses that you tell yourself that you can't start tomorrow or the next day, but you know on, I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday, the 1st of January, that day is the day that things can change for you. Just make sure it happens that day. Don't let that day show up and become an excuse. Oh, well, I enjoyed the 31st a little too much. So maybe the 1st isn't the right day, I'll wait till the 2nd, or the 3rd, or the 4th, and all of a sudden we're in middle of February and you didn't start your New Year's resolution. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with New Year's resolutions. As long as when they show up, and that the first of the year shows up, and you decide to make a change, stick to it.
Well, I love where you went there because showing up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, earlier at dinner in the house, which last couple minute mindset, I made everybody suffer out here in the cold pole barn with me. But the wife went away, so I was like, sweet. Well, let's use the house at the same time and actually be nice and civil for you guys. But we're back in the barn. But on that point is, a lot of us make the excuses, but then we forget that we're not showing up for ourselves. And if we're supposed to show up for everybody else in our lives, and we're not showing up for ourselves first, how are we supposed to help all those other people?
You can't have one without the other.
Right.
If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
Yeah, and I know Brian's about to chime in on this too. So
I'm a chronic New Year's resolutioner.
Nothing wrong with that.
And there isn't. So part of my existence on this planet has been struggling with my weight issues. My mom was overweight most of her life, continued to struggle with it. My sister at one point, long since, has been many moons ago, but she struggled with anorexia to the point of almost dying, having significant issues and stuff. It was pretty bad to kind of be around it. So the whole understanding of proper diet and things like that didn't exist in my house. It was a total shit show. So like people like you that are so dialed in, which I'm talking to Scott, so I'm talking to not everybody's watching the video, but like people like
I'm
Scott,
so proud of you. You've come so far.
that
You're
are
paying
so
attention.
dialed in to what he does. It's easy to say like I don't believe in the resolution. I'm not into that. But the one thing that coming from my area and even having been a trainer for over 10 years at one point, and struggling with the absolute highs of the highs to the lows of the lows with dealing with this weight trauma that I've dealt with my whole life, from somebody on the outside that hasn't been skilled enough or disciplined enough or dialed in enough to live that lifestyle, anybody that, if you're willing, I don't give a shit if it's a New Year's resolution or it's February 2nd or October 1st, like anybody that's willing to say and know enough that that you're trying to kind of reset some of those things, they know what's going on, and truly when you're doing that, knowing, because I'm speaking from experience, it's almost like an enabling thing, because a couple of things that it does is a lot of people use that to take December to carte blanche. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to drink every night. I'm going to act like a lunatic because January, I'm going to be Lou fucking Ferrigno. You know, like I'm going to dial
That
in.
is very common. You're right. You're right. A lot of people.
And
use
it's not
that.
even them trying to get geared up to do well. It's only them allowing themselves mentally to fail miserably and be okay about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that every year, whether it lasts a day, a week, a month, or 6 months, or a year, that January for a lot of us, December, especially when you got kids, and this is something that Scott doesn't deal with, it is insanely stressful.
Yeah.
There's tons of money involved. There's tons of, you got to make sure your kid's having a good time, and there's all this family stuff, and you got your business stuff and all these different things. And it's very easy to get so overwhelmed that January, to me, is an amazing time because I take the tree out, like after the first, and we get, and it's just a time to take a deep breath and let's get focused on where we should have been, before all the chaos goes at the end of the year. And the end of the year is fun, it's a blast, but it's a great time for me. I look forward to it every year, and I set goals. This year I'm hoping that I have a little bit better purpose to what I'm trying to do, with myself. But it's very tough to put yourself. One of the biggest things when I was a trainer many years ago, the biggest word in the game to me was empathy. You got to put yourself in the place of the person that you're dealing with, because we are all coming from so many different places. You have no idea. And now, after having been to North Carolina and talked to people that have been through stuff that I can't even fathom, you don't know who you're standing next to at the shopping market or in the local shoe store or whatever. You have no idea where they came from. You have no idea where they're going. And the fact that they're willing to give it a shot, man, I am all for it. I don't care when they're doing it, and happy to try to help out the best I can to do so.
Love that.
Well said. And we're going to hit a little bit on the North Carolina component, but I want to finish this little roundtable on the theme we've been rolling with here. And Chris, you're obviously new, and I know you're not used to the microphone, but if you're starting to pick up on why I do this, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, the stakes are important, and yeah, it's all about getting guys together, but as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as family people, as just hustling, hardworking people, I've just learned this over the years. People need an excuse to unplug. And yeah, you're not going to come to Scott's house and get drunk and get stupid and then feel better about when you go home. That's not how we roll. Like, this is what it's about at the end of the night. That's why I started this year with this meta mindset. It's like, you know what? Let's actually have some higher level thought. Even if nobody else gives a shit, it's like, dude, we're just going to get together with a bunch of other dudes who actually care and are just trying to improve themselves and maybe other people that they're connected with. So now that you've heard the first 5 minutes of this episode, I mean, this little roundtable, what he just hit on, what Rob started with, what he hit on, is there any thoughts coming out in your head? And you want to chime in on that?
Honestly, I don't set New Year's resolutions.
Neither do I.
I'm more of a year-round kind of person, and my fiance likes to set little goals for us. So if she makes, a dozen cookies, and there's 7 of us, we're allowed to have 1 or 2. If I have 2, the next day I work my ass off. I try to eat off 1.5 of those cookies. That's my goal that I've always have. I mean, when I was younger, it was I'll burn off 3 of those 2 cookies. Now it's let's shoot for 1.5. So my goals aren't through the roof, but let's burn off 1.5 of those 2 cookies. That's
Interesting.
That's my goal.
You have a cookie ratio.
Yeah, I was hearing you guys talk, and it's like what I have a cookie ratio, so that's where I'm at.
I have a Scotch ratio. I mean, my neighbor literally calls me Scotch guy because when I first met him, I came over with my own bottle of Scotch and I put it in his bar. I'm like, I don't drink your vodka. This is all I drink, and now he calls me Scotch guy. I'm like, why? And he goes, that just seems to make sense. I don't know.
I'm sure you have so many names from so many
Well,
places.
He just
You're a lot
chimed
of
in with
guys.
Mulvaney's meats, and that came up last meta mindset. And I was like, I don't know if that was you
That's gonna
or
be his
Dale
third
or-
business. He's gonna back your third business.
Well, there you go.
Mulvaney's
I
meats.
just started a whole meat line. Shout out to
There you go.
Mrs. Graber of Graber Farmstead. She raises the best beef ever. If you're a vegan listening to this show, please subscribe to another show. Unless you're looking to become a really healthy person, then keep listening. There's your PSA.
Jan, you do a great job. Thank you.
I try not to get jealous and all, but that's the truth be told for tonight. Like knowing as much as this was about Scott's meats, I actually brought 2 different bags of nuts because I thought if people were going to be eating his meat, I wanted them to have a mouthful of my nuts as well.
Jeez.
We've gone there. Yes. So, to be fair, this is not Christmas week. We are recording a week before Christmas. So it's maybe less harmful. I don't mean that.
And for those who haven't listened before, I'm slightly unstable.
Well, to be fair, anybody I invite to this barn better be. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense. I really don't know what level of unstable you are. You're welcome to admit it. I'm just assuming that we have some level of percentile.
I make up wherever we're lacking.
Yeah. But no, seriously. So, expanding on that, I don't do the New Year's resolution. You don't do it. Officially, I didn't hear that from you, Rob. Do you? Do you not?
No.
No.
No, I mean, I do goals. I'm big on goal setting. I have a very specific process.
Good. This is where I wanted to go. I love it. I love
Very
it.
specific process that I follow when it comes to setting and making sure that I follow through with a goal or multiple goals.
Okay.
So, not resolutions, because I don't wait for the New Year to start or not start something. When I have very lofty goals for.
Do you
2025.
find your goals sometimes carrying over from the prior year, right? Because
Well, of
sometimes
course,
goals are
yeah.
big. They're big and boisterous, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have goals that I set 3 years ago that are that will come to fruition in 2025.
Awesome.
So,
I'll even tweak my answer a little bit as I'm listening to some of this too, because from somebody like myself who has my own little small business and doing things, and anybody that knows me, like I am forever setting goals and working
100%,
towards
you have to.
a number of different
As a
things
business
at
owner,
all
you'll
times.
never be successful.
So
you know?
even though I say I am a big fan of the this time of year, kind of wiping the slate clean, and let's just say this is like a time that I kind of put myself in a different place for a different kind of, almost a cleansing of, it's just a way to reflect on the last year, and okay, this didn't go nearly as well as it should have. This went better than I thought it ever would, so let's work more this way, do less of this, and then, so I kind of take all that information, and at that time, even though it's, that time of year for that, that type of a goal, technically I still, I'm doing that all year long. I just say this time of year.
I think it's one of those things this time of year where, especially people with families, and even if you don't have kids, you still have family.
Oh, yeah.
Where life, you don't always control or dictate how your day goes as much as you would normally.
Ever.
No.
Even more now.
But now, so more now, this time of year, things can get away from you without you realizing it. So that reset, that January 1st, where like you said, you can take the tree out of your house, lights come down, and all of a sudden we're back to just business, school, sports, dance, whatever the 75 things you do on a daily basis, running your kids
Oh,
around
yeah.
and running your business.
Yeah, especially with kids.
It's this time of year gets a little hectic, and that January 1st is all that. It's not a reset button, but it's like a checkpoint. Like, okay, cool, we made it through the chaos of end of November, December, and now January. The chaos has kind of subsided a little bit. As long as we don't have the hangover from the holiday hangover, especially up here in the Northeast where you have seasonal depression, which is a real thing because you don't see sunlight for 8 weeks.
Yeah, we're not even Alaska where it's months.
I can't fathom that because
Yeah.
sun, vitamin D, like it's real. Like not seeing sun affects you mentally and emotionally,
Oh, yeah.
and physically. But I think that January 1st, the reason it's such a good reset is the chaos is over. Now you can take a second and focus on everything you screwed up or missed in December. So you didn't screw up most of the year. You got out of control for 6 or 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then January comes around and like, all right, cool, I need to catch up on what I didn't do the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I got to admit on that note, I feel like in the past couple of weeks, I definitely pushed hard this year and last year. I mean, I push hard in general. My wife usually calls me out and says I'm a little OCD and a little obsessive.
No, not you.
Not me, no, yeah.
Never.
But I had, and again,
$6,000 heater in the ceiling.
I didn't order that yet. It's not been paid for, but it's on the goals list. Every year, every time you guys come back,
It'll be here next time you
I've been
show up.
talking about that for 3 years. We're still using space heaters, okay? So, but we're getting closer. That's why I said I'm not going to buy the expensive heater until the place is insulated. So the first floor is done, on to the second floor. But on that note, just the fact that I have this space, I have the ability to invite guys over. I have the ability to go buy 2-inch thick steaks. I mean, again, 2-inch. It was amazing. Sorry, I was very excited for those steaks tonight. I'm a simple man. Just give me a good cut of beef, throw it on the grill. I'm happy. But having this space, after I went to, I'll tie it back to Brian. You brought it up, North Carolina, Hurricane Helene this year. The first couple days, I couldn't even sleep. It was like I was like tossing and turning in my bed, and I couldn't figure out why. And I'm like, I could not check out. My brain was dialing back into my old firefighting days because I have the giant chainsaws hanging on the wall, and I'm like, I have the gear, I have the skills. And then my brain kicked in again and said, wait a minute, Scott, you busted your ass the past few years. You're financially capable. You have the ability to take time off and do whatever you want. You work for yourself. Just go. But I struggled with that. But then I became, like, my hair is standing up on my arms right now because I'm like, oh my God, I got this wake-up call where I'm like, dude, just fucking go. And I was like, shit. So I told Kristen. I didn't tell Brian. I got a lot of shit with that. My bad, bro. But I just like, wait a minute. I'm just going to go. And like, wait a minute. I have a slow week coming up. Because again, you're just talking about this. Like, a lot of people, it does kind of, it winds up with families and commitments and, you know, Christmas gifts and stuff like that and balancing schedules. But like, for me, it was like, wait a minute. The year's winding down. Like, yeah, you're pushing for those big deals, Chris. You're probably, you know, trying to crush some huge freaking end of year, you know, seafood orders for everybody doing Christmas parties and holiday parties and all the things. But I was like, outside of that, I'm like, wait a minute. I had this one little week in October where I'm like, okay, North Carolina's still fucked up. I can still go and make a difference. I'm going to go. And then Brian, 2 weeks after I went, he decides to go do the same damn thing. And we had the same bonding conversation where it's like, he's a dad with kids. I wasn't. So, but I still felt guilty about taking time off and doing it. But I'm like, wait a minute, why am I working so hard? Why do we do all the things that we do in our lives if we cannot take time off to either spend time with families or spend time supporting a nonprofit initiative, a charity, or something? And that was kind of something that I just wanted to naturally flow into the show. And I wanted to hit that on the next note because it's been dwelling in my head even since North Carolina, so I'm glad you brought that up tonight. And I know you got hit very heavily psychologically and emotionally after I went. I mean, I was driving back through Virginia after my week down there, and he didn't make fun of me. Ooh, the wife's on. But you kind of like aligned with me because I'm driving, and you heard me get emotional because you were asking about it, and I started talking to him about what I observed, and I got emotional over the phone driving the Jeep back. as my wife was pulling in the Jeep. And he goes, "Oh shit." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Oh, what'd you say? I got Straussered or something like that."
Yeah, you've been Straussered.
Yeah. So
I cried, everything.
I was literally, I got emotional driving the car, sleep deprived, back to Virginia, trying to get home, to go run my business, and I'm like, I was getting emotional, and it was a good emotion. It was good, and
That was the moment too, like when you got like that. Like as soon as I knew,
You've never heard
I knew
that,
the
have you?
extent, and I watched a lot. I was already researching it. I was on it long before I knew that you were going, which is why it was funny that you went. And it's funny how we met through this awkward bonding of the chainsaw gig that we're all into. But knowing that you went to do that, it didn't surprise me at all. I had a good chuckle over it. But then once you had gotten emotional through that, where you don't get emotional, and I get emotional to everything, I'm like, that was a no-brainer to me, and I just sent that text out to my wife. I literally, on the conversation, I said, "That's it, dude, I'm going. Like, one way or another, I'm going to get there, I'm going to do something." And I sent something to my wife, and God bless her, like, that was one thing that, she was very cool. She knows me. She knows exactly how I am and who I am, and she goes, "I'm not going to tell you not to go." And I packed up my shit, started doing, and the cool thing was I had some things to take care of, being a business guy, and I had some jobs that I didn't want people to, it's very important for me to take care of my people. So people that I had told I was going to be there and do certain things with, I took care of that. But it gave me time to raise some money and get some things together to have a whole truckload of shit, when I went down, even a boatload, hundreds of dollars in kids' toys that I took down. It's going to kids this Christmas and stuff from that trip, as well as all my gear and everything. It was neat.
Yeah, you actually provided a great example of how everybody kind of responds differently in life, from a charitable effort or whatever you're trying to do. Is like, he just rolled out and he goes, he has a pickup truck, I had a Jeep Wrangler. So I'm like, all right, well, I just focused on loading up all the gear I possibly could, and I had a lot of gear. I'm like, I'm just going to donate as much as I can when I'm done. So I didn't have room for an extra buddy or his gear or anything anyway, so it worked out great. But at least you had a full-size pickup truck, and you being a dad and having kids, you took it to another level. And you're like, wait a minute, I should bring some toys. Because by the time you were coming down, you're getting closer to the holiday season. And I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I was focusing on, I'm going to donate extra chain and bar oil and fuel to the other volunteers. Now, granted, I was there 2 weeks before you, still almost about maybe a month after Hurricane Helene hit. But as you and I now both know, there's still people down there right now, as we're in December.
It looks the same way right now as it did when we were there before, minus,
well,
still
unless the West Virginia boys roll in, then they just wreck house and build entire roads out of nothing. But I mean, those guys are badass. Were you with the West Virginia boys or the Virginia boys? There's a couple
the
different groups.
the three main guys I was with were from West Virginia.
West Virginia, yeah. That's what I wrote. Like, these dudes are just rolling in, like mining guys. They just drive in their own excavating equipment. Like, the states can't rebuild the road for 6 months? Give me a weekend. And they just bulldoze the entire river embankment and turn it into a road again. And all of a sudden you have access to that town again. And it's like the citizens were just getting it done, man. I'm just like, how do you...
Guys are rolling in with big American flags and Trump signs and shit all over the place. Everybody's got firearms everywhere. Like, nobody, like, those guys, they were there to help. And do not tell them to stop doing anything they're doing unless you're ready to do something about it, because they're going to do whatever
Everybody was open
doing.
carrying. It was open carrying
Everybody
everywhere.
was carrying. So I had multiple firearms with me because I knew it was reciprocal.
I told you that.
PA, and I'm a handgun guy, but I don't carry all the time, and I'm not like that. When I got down there and saw the amount of guns floating around, it was John Wayne time. I didn't take a shit without my pistol. I didn't even drop my pants. I kept it on my waist. I flipped a flap because there were guns everywhere.
Did you try running the saw with? Because like I had open carry, and I'm trying to run my saw, and I kept like clicking my elbow on my gun on the side. It doesn't work very well. I had to develop a whole new technique.
They were everywhere. Man.
Yeah, you need to
not
get a
a group of
holster,
people you wouldn't
right?
mess with.
I was like, okay, this is not working. I'm like checking my gun. I'm like, okay, guys, again, whether you like guns or not, sorry, don't subscribe to my show. Vegans, don't subscribe. If you don't like guns, don't subscribe. Please don't follow Live the Fuel. I don't care. That being said, let freedom ring.
You might not want to hear this one.
Let freedom ring.
Like, these people were helping each other. There was no government assistance. People were coming in from other states, rolling in with their own excavation equipment, their own pickup trucks, their own trailers, and rebuilding communities trying to help people get back to a relatively entry-level ability to just be able to get in and out of their town. 600 plus people without homes. They might be still about 400 or 500 because like church groups are building sheds. Sheds that I will eventually build outside of this barn here. I have a concrete pad for it. The shed that I have planned to build here, they're building sheds for people to live in because their homes are gone. And I'm like,
Not just their homes. It's one thing to lose a
Everything.
home. There is hundreds to thousands of people buried under 6 foot, 10 foot, 12
oh, that's,
foot.
yes, people have not been dug out yet.
Mud.
Yeah, the
You know,
bodies
like,
are still discovered. Which
So
again,
many hundreds and hundreds of people
Yeah.
that have never been found.
No.
Still gone.
again, I went through Chimney Rock, North Carolina. You finally made it there. But next
I went through the entire place.
Dude, 30-foot flood stage. 30 feet. That's the barn, dude. I mean, really, this is a 35-foot, 30-foot
I saw things that
30 feet.
in downtown Chimney Rock and stuff and I took pictures and tried to show people stuff and I go, it's truthfully not even worth me trying to explain to you what I've seen and what went on.
And
there.
you and I both, we posted photos, we posted videos. And it's true, that old quote, like, you know, what's it, the photo only speaks so far, or it only means so much, like you have to be there to understand it. So, and again, this isn't like a praise about what he and I did. It's just a matter of like awakening people up at this time of year. It's the holiday season. It's like, I remember being a kid and being an asshat, begging for the G.I. Joe headquarters, which I did eventually get. But it was a lot of begging, and I shoveled a lot of shit because I did grow up on a farm. But I had to shovel a lot of manure to get that G.I. Joe headquarters, and it was pretty badass. But that being said, nowadays being an adult, it's like, okay, well, if I really need the G.I. Joe headquarters, like, people don't have homes, okay? So I think that's a great awakening and a reminder right now in this country is that this is going to air before New Year's, before 2025 kicks off, and that's why I wanted to record this with you guys and just hang out and just reflect on things and just be aware of what's happening in the world. I don't get into politics. I don't get into religion. You did name drop Trump, though, but then again, he is going to be the next president, so whatever. But it's like, why are we working so hard? Why are we striving to be healthier and fitter people, better fathers, better husbands, better influences in this world? And that's part of the underlying principle of this theme that I started creating, this whole meta mindset, is that we all need to be rising up, because a lot of people have no problem just falling into the gutter. And unfortunately, it takes a very few people, and again, if one little podcast that we're recording tonight can make a difference in one person's life, that's why I still podcast. I've been podcasting since 2016. I have 450 shows online. So in 2025, we'll hit 500. I mean, I feel good about that. Rob, you've been on,
This is number 4.
right?
4 or 5.
Couple in the gym. You had one of the
Two
first
the
ones in the
gym,
home
two-
office.
Number 5.
Oh shit!
It's 5.
Are you including Meta Mindset?
Yeah.
Damn, what's 5? You guys might be tied.
Yeah, it's been a bunch.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You
two-
started the old Starbucks days, so yeah.
Yep.
But let's hit that on a little round table. And actually, we'll start with you. You being a father of 5,
Yeah.
2 businesses. You actually showed up, so thank you. Like what?
Thanks for having me.
Now that you're hearing this shit, I mean, I don't know. Is there anything kind of hitting hard for you? Did it make you reflect at all? That you want to pass on to a microphone for somebody out there that might be not having the best of life or the best of the world? And like, we all come from a lot of shit.
Yeah, sure. I feel like I need to eat more meat, let's be honest.
Well said.
I got shit on earlier when I was like, meat's boring, and everybody's like, no, it's not.
He's in the fish business. Like, you understand.
Now, to be
He's in
fair,
the
hold on.
seafood business.
Hold on. He ripped on himself. He
which
ripped on himself
I
and
did.
said he thought buying a bunch of shrimp was going to make him healthier. That was you.
It didn't.
And how did I respond via text? What did I say? Meat heals, brother.
Yeah.
Actually, did I send that as a hashtag?
I
Or
think
should
you
send that
did.
as a hashtag? Yeah.
I was half asleep when you said it.
And
No,
there is the argument the healthiest meat you're going to eat is fish.
There's an argument for that.
There's an argument. It's just funny if you look at the micros, not the macros.
Sure. I'm not against seafood.
Steaks, I mean, red meat's a strong second.
Oh, I mean, I still go wild game all day. Every
Yeah,
day.
well, yeah.
When actually, fair.
Wild caught fish.
Let's
I'm
think
talking
about this.
Yeah.
Wild game, even though it's, well, okay, it's not game, it's fish, but like, okay, if you're a hunter, okay, I don't have a wild game nearby, but there's a fish in that stream and I need to survive. That's wild caught nutrition.
Wild caught fish is your healthiest.
Again, vegans do not
Protein.
apply. Good luck with yourself. You better have thousands of dollars of supplementation. I have no problem working on them.
So is fish a micro or a macro? I have no fucking.
Okay, so there's
That's a great question.
microbiotics and macros. Macros is like carbs, fats, proteins.
Okay.
Micros are the vitamins and minerals and aminos.
So micros are good.
Yeah, both
Shout
are
out
good.
to F13 performance.
Both are very important. But like the top line, most people talk about like how much protein you need, how much carbs you need to get. Like all right, I'm gonna my protein from all these different sources. They don't talk about the actual nutrients that come from the protein source you're getting. So you want wild caught animals, grass fed beef. You don't want farm raised fish. You don't want chickens and turkeys and steaks that are injected with a bunch of steroids and everything else. You want natural farm raised,
I'll simplify the
free-range
seafood
raising
thing to you.
animals.
Well, so
Because I've interviewed microbiologists on this over the years, scientists, doctors, and I'm a geek about health. That's why health is the first part of our tagline for the show. If I just took wild versus farm-raised fish, wild-caught fish from the ocean, not lakes, not ponds, not streams.
Yeah.
What is the one element that is consistent across the Pacific, especially the Pacific versus the Atlantic? Cold temperatures. What does the cold trigger in a wild fish? Fat production, insulation. What is stored in that fish, again, if it's not been influenced by pollution, would be nutrient-dense material, right? So if I'm eating a healthy, fatty fish from the wild, I should get much more, because again,
Nutrients.
we've allowed 30 to 40 years of miseducation through magazines like Men's Health, Women's Health, and all those shitty-ass mags and rags. I stopped being a magazine guy years ago once I pulled my head out of my ass and learned that they don't know shit. It is, dude, what you put in is what you get out. So if the fish is in a farm, unless they're paying thousands of dollars to do refrigerant-lined concrete to chill the pond walls, to recreate the wildlife of the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, that fish is not growing up the same way as a wild fish does.
Sure.
So the fat alone is going to be different.
Okay.
Hands down. And thanks to 30, 40 years of miseducation, we've been led to believe that, quote, fat equals fat. Completely false. Fat is actually the preferred energy source of our body. Like 80% of our brain tissue is fat. So, again, go back and listen to a lot of my shows I've already aired. This is not my words. So if you're consuming healthy fats, we have to relearn that fat equals energy. So if we're looking at it as an energy source, and I'm a hunter, right? Okay, great. What's going to be better? The fat out of a buffalo or the fat out of a factory farmed steer? I'm eating that buffalo.
Sure.
Now, granted, the buffalo's a meal leaner. It's a wild animal. It's running a lot. Might not have the same fat content as a farm-raised steer. But again, back to this point, grass-fed, right? Graver. You're buying from Graver. Shout out to Jan again. We love you. Your beef tastes amazing. So, I didn't say her meat, bro. I said beef. So, that
Hey,
being
listen,
said,
the whole time you're
So,
talking,
are you
all I'm
picking
worried
up on
about
that?
is where
I
these
am,
shrimp
and
came from that
shout
they
out-
brought.
yeah.
Were they
Shout out to my
healthy shrimp or
mentor,
not?
Todd. He basically scolded me when I asked, can I buy farm-raised shrimp? He said, no, you can't.
Ooh.
You can't.
Well, your mentor literally straight said no.
He
good for him.
scolded me.
But yeah,
So-
Shake Todd's hand.
Everything in my store is wild caught.
boom.
Love
So
that.
Well, I sent photos of the price.
that makes me feel good.
So
I learned
once
a
you
little
told
bit
me you
today.
bought Todd's, I stopped in. And I think I texted you, I can't remember.
You
But
did.
anyway, I sent photos to my neighbor, Joe. And Joe, you call me Scotch guy. You never, well, I've offered you to be on the show, but he's not into this world. And he's old school. And he goes, well, that's a little pricey. I just go to Costco. I'm like, well, then you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And I literally said that. I was like, bro, when you're ready to have a seafood night, I will go to where I trust and get quality food.
Or
and
we'll
we will
start a
have an amazing
podcast
party.
night and I'll bring it.
Right. I have a men's night. Bro showed up again.
Dude, the shrimp was on point.
Boom. I mean,
On
we're not
point.
talking the stupid, cheap, chintzy, like mini shrimp. Like, no.
It
They
was
were
meat.
big and they were
It was
meaty.
meat.
Like when you go to a restaurant and you pay, what is the going rate for cocktail shrimp? I get a kick out of that. You get the stupid little.
Yeah, yeah,
I
champagne
think those
glass.
are ice cream dishes, whatever
Yeah.
those are,
Yeah.
and they hook the shrimp on the side. And you're lucky if you get 3.
Mhm.
That's the size of the shrimp you brought tonight. He had a whole platter of it. Now, what's the going rate of a platter like that? Let's be honest.
That's $75.
$75 platter. He shows up tonight. Now, granted, I made sure the beef offset that. It's not about a dollar comparison, but you're right. That was a perfect pairing because I just kept hitting that shit.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But you get what you pay for. Like my father-in-law, he has the money. He's a little cheap. No offense, Tom. I mean, I still love you.
Here comes
You're
the
never going to listen to the show. But next week,
I'm not listening.
No, hold on. It's Kristen's dad. I don't care. But he'll be here next week. But but because I love him, I have a tray on order with you guys. I got 2 pounds of shrimp. I got a pound of lobster meat and a pound of those little cool crab claw things.
Oh, the snow crab?
Yeah,
you're
snow
gonna love
crab.
this.
Sorry, Tom.
What about the large
What's
crab
that probably going to cost me? I don't even know.
I'm
Maybe-
doing the math in my head.
I won't even know. But I don't care because it's the holidays. I'm thankful for having a successful year. I'm thankful for being able to take time off, go to North Carolina. I'm thankful for having the ability to host men in my barn as the installation project continues. But it's like, dude, why do we work so hard if we cannot find ways to reward ourselves and reward the people connected to us, right? And give back. And if nothing else, I want to enjoy teaching my father-in-law what a proper seafood platter looks like. Not that. So, still love him, just saying. But no, he will never grill my steak. I love you, Tom. But when I first started dating Kristen, literally her and her brother were trying to like, hey, Dad, go do this. And then Scott, go run the grill. I'm like, why? Like, you don't want him grilling the steaks. He's gotten better over the years. He has. So it's a great. I've always been real and transparent. I don't hide anything. So, on those notes, though, anything else you want to add to that theme of not just buying better quality seafood, obviously, or better quality meats, or being thankful, but anything else that you're kind of picking up on?
Well, you guys talked a lot about giving back, and this year, in 2025, we're going to do a lot with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Oh, I've done that.
So we actually have a couple of family members that have gone through it, and we're going to do as much as we can to give back.
Are they doing well? Are they getting through it okay? Or 'cause that's a rough go.
So one is my niece. She's doing very well, and it just sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a good thing to have, but she's doing the best she can. She's doing great. She's in cheerleading right now. Like, she's doing great. The other family member is my fiance's deceased husband.
Okay.
That sucks. I mean, I am where I am because of what happened, but you know, it's unfortunate.
So he passed because of leukemia.
Yeah, leukemia.
Wow.
So he died in 2020,
Okay.
and it is what it is. Like, it sucks. It's awful. We wouldn't be where we are right now without that. And as unfortunate as it is, like, we're going to give back, and we're going to do as much as we can to progress that.
Well, you know the Lehigh Valley has a regular big, like, leukemia, lymphoma. It's a big thing here in the valley.
Oh, sure. It's
Because
huge.
I was one of those people. I did it one year. I tried, like, raising as much money as I could, trying to beat, like, the top
Yeah.
fundraiser thing.
Yep.
Like my buddy Dave Close from Adams Outdoor Advertising, he actually wanted the 1 year. And it's not about winning. It's about, like, you know, raising the most money possible. And then they do promote the heck out of it. Like, you get your photo on the digital billboards and stuff. Like, it's a big thing because it's a very, very, very trying, I guess, disease. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
So are you going to try and, like, run in that?
No, my ex-brother,
Sounds
my ex-brother-in-law is actually he's running for, I guess it's called Man of the Year.
Yeah, Man of the Year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to remember. Yeah.
So
They have a Woman of the Year, Man of the Year, and they compete all year long to raise as much money possible, and then whoever wins out, wins out.
So he's running for it, and we're going to do whatever we can to help him succeed.
I love it.
So
I'm in.
Yeah.
Send me the info. When
I
you guys, does he have the campaign launched yet, or is he launching in January?
it's coming up very shortly.
Yeah.
And we're kind of figuring out how we're going to help, but that's really where we're at right now.
Do you need to host a steak night in my barn?
We probably should.
I'm just saying.
The steak was pretty good, so
Okay.
yeah,
I mean, I don't care.
I'll be back.
Actually, to be fair, I just have no excuse to not grill steaks and have people to get together. But no, either way, I'm still happy to donate without a steak night.
I see a theme for the first 2025 Men of Mindset night.
Rob, you're
Raise some
vibing,
money.
man. I love it. I love
You
it.
can do that.
Because I was going to bring this up tonight anyway, because I didn't want this to be a super long podcast. But
Right.
I was like, I had no problem footing the bill all this year for the stakes and stuff. I just want to bring guys together, but it's like, yeah, and I have my own charity, but how do we align better? Even if it's just 4 to 6 guys getting together, it could be a little bit bigger. I don't care, but it doesn't make me feel so bad making it bigger if we're aligning with a nonprofit initiative.
There it is.
And then we have an excuse to maybe get more people together, especially if people are donating into it, because then it gets expensive. But also, in the end, if we're generating more income into a nonprofit initiative, then game on. It turns into a campaign thing.
Yeah.
This is obviously no country club, but I'm just saying, if we need a rustic option, I'm happy to host.
No, that's awesome. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So.
Well, summer's nice too, as we open the doors, get the fire pits.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I didn't do a summer
Well,
session
you-
this year. We
you
did.
might- You might know somebody that owns 9,000 square foot facility. That
Well,
would open
I
up the
could
doors.
say if we needed a larger quote unquote barn that's not a barn but a giant freaking gym, yeah, that'd be you. And he hosts events all the time because we just did a big massive competition. Yeah, what is that? 9,000?
9,000 square feet.
Yeah,
I could probably take a lock on most buildings, but we'd have it be a short party.
yeah. But again, the theme of a health, fitness. It's not a bad angle actually. I like that actually. Yeah, we should figure this out. So we have some homework actually.
Absolutely.
That's more reason why we have events like this. Like, if there's something good that can come out of this, I'm excited. I want to help you figure this
I
out.
also know a guy who used to run events for a living. I'll give him a call.
Yeah, I mean, ergo you. And there might be somebody who knows a little bit about sales and marketing and growing things. And yeah, there could be some things.
I use a gun shit.
Yeah. We can rebuild something. I mean, or just show up. I mean, you can do that.
No, we can build something.
Yeah.
We need to do a good photo wall with some backdrops on the stage. Like, you got a guy.
Oh, he could build. I mean, he could build stuff way nicer than that. But yeah, I mean, you can make a bougie one.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you allow bougie in your business model?
I'm all about
Home
the bougie.
improvement?
It's gotta be
He likes bougie and emotion
I'm
so far.
so bougie, it's just, I don't even know what to do, but it's all about the time.
Wait, the guy has lights with his logo when you open his door to his
That
truck.
was
You
awesome.
want to talk about bougie?
You never told me you did that.
Listen,
I thought.
you know,
Why didn't you send me
He
that
opens his
text
truck
I don't
door
like the glow.
his logo
You
is
know?
on the ground.
That's your Mercedes thing.
I want the night to be about your meat. I don't
It's
want
okay.
people to see what I got going on. It's
Listen,
all
that was
about
awesome.
Mulvaney's meat.
I've known Scott and his meat for 10 years.
Yeah.
I've never seen him one-upped and Brandon. You just
I had no
you
problem doing
just
that right there.
One-up Scott and
No,
Brandon.
literally, the
I
first Men of Mindset when you were here, he busted my balls right away because I was serving the meat down here and I had my table set up. I ordered like nice stretchy black tablecloths to make the tables look nicer. And again, we're a bunch of guys. You guys don't give a shit. But then he goes, "Oh, so you have your logo on it, right?" And I'm like, "Fucker." I was like, I usually put my logo on everything. And I'm like, "No, I just
He did
just
not.
black
Yeah,
tablecloths."
there's
And he
no
goes,
logo.
and he just looked at me, and I was like, "You motherfucker." But
Yeah,
that's
you
what
gotta-
friends
you
are for.
gotta keep up.
That's
Yeah,
what
you
friends
gotta
are
keep
for.
up.
You
I
know.
don't know what else to say.
We're all about holding each other to a higher standard, a higher level. But yeah, dude, that's a Mercedes level shit. I did not. It's like that's the only time I've ever seen. Usually, when you open a Mercedes, they have the little logo shining out of the door, and they got the big obnoxious
call it
hood
puddle
hood
lights.
ornament.
Well, yeah, and like
Or the
Mustang
grill.
has you the Mustang, the horse on the ground. when you
Oh,
open the
Mustang
door.
does that too. Okay.
A lot of them do it now,
Yeah.
yeah. But not their own logos.
So what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is when you open the pickup door trucks of Brian Strausser's pickup truck for Strausser Home Improvements, his logo is emanating downward onto the ground. It shows up even better when there's snow coming down right now, and it's a white snow.
Oh, Black
It was
Academy.
literally
It
It's
is
actually
lit up.
better.
So,
I have a magnet on my truck.
Yeah.
As far as I go.
yeah. Well, my new business car, when I bought it, Chris was like, "You're not putting stickers on that." And I
No,
was like,
but you can put lights that shine on the ground on it.
I could. I don't know if my car is nice enough to have the door lights. I don't know.
I'm sure he's got a guy.
I'd have to get them all wired in.
I can
It's
make it
doable.
happen, trust me.
It's doable. The car's young. I only have
You'd be
110,000.
surprised how easy that is for any of you guys to get a logo for your thing.
Yeah,
We can talk a little
Does
bit.
that count towards the IRS kind of guidelines?
it's a business expense.
Everything counts towards the IRS.
Well, think about it.
We're all getting audited.
Quit. All right. For those
You
watching,
mentioned
because we're all business
guns
people.
and IRS. We're all getting audited.
If you want to write off your clothing, as long as you get your logo either screen printed or embroidered onto the clothing, that is a business expense. So normally Brian is rocking his face on everything. That was a joke earlier.
Including your meat.
This is actually the first night you've been out. You do not have your brand
Not one
anywhere.
thing.
You are unbranded except for your truck.
Yeah.
That's why you did it, because your truck was branded. So there you go.
Way to roll.
Yeah,
I'm impressed. I'm still
I'm very
thinking about it.
impressed. Actually, the detail is actually pretty impressive.
It is pretty
perfect.
simple.
It is.
I have a backup. Sometimes
I'm
one
a little
of them.
jealous.
I got another set at home ready to go.
I'm a little jealous. I should be. I want to put them on my four-wheeler. I want to see if I can find a way to put some like runner
The
lights.
same thing is like a Batman light. So that thing sticks to your door, and I'll explain to you after this how you can do it. But I have the actual unit at home, another one of them. You can sit here, like say I wanted to put my
Like a
logo on
Batman
the wall.
light?
I could literally sit here and shoot my logo on the wall and like trace it
Okay.
out or something.
So
Right,
it's just a glass insert then.
No, I'll show you later.
Okay.
It's actually it's on the door. It's actually stuck 3M double-sided tape, and it has a film, a little film. It could say GMC, it could say Ford, it could say
Right.
whatever.
Look at
But
that.
I sent them a good file of my logo. They printed out these little films, little microfilm things. You pull out the GMC that it came with, put that in, and it's done.
Look at that.
All right,
And
you
it's
may,
hooked
you
to
may
a
have
magnet,
just,
so when it
you may
closes,
have just
It
hacked
turns it off.
year one of this barn goals. Year one.
Let me
Going
tell you,
back.
here's, you want to know how much it costs to do that? That
50
everybody's so razzle-dazzled about?
$50.
Less than $50. I think it was about $39.
Oh dear Lord. All right.
And it took me about 10 minutes to put it in my truck.
So year one, we bought this house. Actually, you would probably see it where you're sitting. Do you see that yellow wire at the top of the main beam in the center of the eaves there? You see a yellow electrical wire on the left sticking out of the main vertical beam on this garage, all the way up there. So I had them run wires up there, and then when you hooked me up with the railings dude, Frint
Yep,
Frint
Mr.
Fabrication,
Frint.
I asked him, can you make a metal like logo sign? He's like, why? I'm like, I want my Live the Fuel fire logo on the outside of this barn. But I want it backlit so that you could see it from Hospital Road. But then I want it angled so it would shine the logo like the bat signal down on the driveway outside. Obviously, I never did this.
So instead you have a little 12 by 12
Hey,
backlit logo
that
there.
was hand carved by a fan who was one of my former athletes from CrossFit Adoration.
Come on.
He made that in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on his own wood turning machine.
That's impressive. To do
Yeah.
that fire,
That is
that's
pretty
impressive.
I didn't do any of that. That's all him. Yeah, I didn't know. And then he inlaid it with the little LED lights. So,
Nice.
yeah. I did not make that. And then that Live the Fuel sign above the little fat screen back there, that's actually from Brian Strausser. There's a whole written little sentence on the back of that. That was how many years ago now, man? Shit.
That's actually part of a bar that I built for Marcus Lemonis's bar in Chicago.
Nice.
He's got this big ass bar. That's Sapelli mahogany. When if you look close at that wood, it like glows like gold. It's the craziest wood I've ever worked with in my life. But I took these cutoffs and made that thing, and literally took my router and hand carved the Live the Fuel for him.
Nice.
And since I don't have enough repurposed wood, and since we were talking about North Carolina, this was from one of the people I helped in North Carolina. So again, reclaimed wood. I did not know that her husband did what you. He doesn't do at your level, but and they sent me this wonderful card with it. So this is like, I'm going to turn this into like a coat rack out here in the barn. But this is actually the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. So this was 5th or 6th person I helped. And then they shipped this to me because the next day they were flying out to their daughter's wedding in the state of Washington, and they didn't have water restored until that morning.
Wow.
But they couldn't use the water because it was all like nasty.
Yeah, sedative.
It was not safe. But I went into their backyard and it was a hot mess, and I cleaned it up. Chainsaw fun. And they said this. They said this is October 22nd, and they said, Scott, a very heartfelt thank you from both of us. A little something for a dinner, and something we made from scrap wood off of our jobs to remember our North Carolina mountains. For your home, Gary and Kat Huber. Sorry, I almost forgot the last name. So I love when people give me arts. So like you, and obviously these people from North Carolina. So I'll eventually hang this up.
Like my grandmother said, and this is something that stuck with my little girl, who is actually named after the same woman I'm talking about, probably the most influential person in my life. But I used to make her handmade Christmas cards or birthday cards or whatever. And she used to always say, it always means so much more when somebody makes something from their hands than it could ever be if you went out and spent money and bought this thing. So I named my daughter Hazel after my grandmother, whose name was Hazel, my father's mother. And till this day, I don't think that little girl's ever asked for a card, ever. Every Christmas, birthday, whatever, she hand makes everything that she gives to people.
That's
And it's the cutest thing
That's awesome.
to see her kind of carry on.
Actually, I love
what
that.
meant so
That's so
much
cool.
from
And how old's
my
your girl?
grandmother. My daughter's 10.
Yeah, but she's doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Still doing
You're bringing up
she'll,
right.
she'll like get angry.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not buying a car. I'll make one.
I
She's
like
like,
that.
Dad, it means more if you, she's like, just regurgitates everything that I drive. One of the things for two guys here that I haven't met before, but one of the things that people ask you, like, what's your favorite thing about having your own business? Oh, the money you're making from what you used to have, or this, that, whatever. And I'm like, nah, I'm not really financially driven in that way. It's the freedom part of it, and it's the fact that I can be to everything that ever, involves my daughter and stuff, things that go on in school, this, that, whatever. But the biggest thing, people say, like, what is it the most? I say, you know what means most about me having my own business, which has become in 5 years a lot more than even my bookkeepers told me for 3 years straight that you've kind of peaked. I don't think you're ever going to get past, like
Yeah.
she's like putting a
Yep.
top on what I've done.
Yep.
And every year I've blown it out of the water, not even trying, like just because of doing what I do and how I do it. And the one thing that means the most to me is I drive my daughter to school. When it's a school year, I drop her off. I don't have to. My wife works from home. She has no problem dropping her off. I drop her off at school every day because that's 10 to 15 minutes in my kid's life that I have every day to either program or deprogram that kid from anything that's going on in her life.
Well, you set
So-
a precedent for yourself. That's what I respect. Is like when you told me that she was pregnant and you were going to have actually your kid with your wife, because the other two were not from from prior marriage. I was pumped for you because I knew you were like I call you I call super dads. I don't know enough. I mean, you have 5 freaking kids, so automatically that kind of
There's
makes
other more
you
super than
super dad.
5.
I mean, that just kind of this is based on quantity. I mean, it all sounds exhausting to me. But that's why I have no problem throwing it out there. But also I know it because no matter what's happening professionally, personally, relationship issues are going to be relationship issues. Marriage issues are going to be marriage issues. Business issues, all these things. When I meet guys that I know will always put their kids first or their families first, that impresses me because I don't have kids, and but I still recognize that and I honor that and I respect that. I think that's something that we've lost a little bit in society and needs to get brought back tenfold. I think a lot of what's going on today, we don't talk about politics and religion and all this silly bullshit nowadays. We're like, dude, just be better, stronger parents and guide your children accordingly. And I will say, don't trust the school systems, but because it's a hot freaking mess. But that's the point of a parent. Like, be good parents. Know what's right for your children. I don't know. I'm not a parent. I can't speak too much for that. I'm just observing.
You guys show up and be
other
available.
Yeah.
Be available and listen.
Yeah. Like
Nothing-
you do.
there's nothing more important.
You do donut Fridays.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Donut
do
Fridays.
Yeah. He posts on the social media all the time. I think it's cute. I don't eat donuts, but like, hey, it's your daughter. You do you, dude. Like,
I don't eat donuts.
right.
I don't put myself in donuts.
But you're
They
getting your
eat
daughter a
donuts.
donut. There
She
you
does
go.
that, yeah.
For those that do not know, what is Donut Friday?
Oh, so like Friday morning. So just for my first one, every Friday on the way to daycare, we would stop at Dunkin' Donuts and do Donut Friday. And then I had my second one, and now the third one. And the third one obviously didn't eat. She's 9 months, so she's not eating donuts yet. But she'll go through it too. So it's not always Friday. Sometimes it's Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day I drive them. Because normally I'm the bus guy, so I put the oldest on the bus. My wife takes the other two to daycare.
Okay.
So we divide and conquer. But we do whenever I drive them to daycare, whatever that day is, we do a donut on the way to school that day.
Nice.
They can go in,
Yeah.
they look forward to it. And in the morning, like if my wife and I switch up and she puts one on the bus and I take the other two to daycare, I'll like, hey, make donuts today. And they get so freaking jazzed up. Get a couple munchkins or get a donut. And my 4-year-old loves munchkins, and my 8-year-old wants a strawberry frosted donut with sprinkles. That's what we get.
So now we just have to figure out at what age is the steak excitement.
Oh,
How do we break this?
So
How do we move
I
from
don't
the
think
donuts?
I don't think you're going to get excited for Steak Fridays anytime
Come
soon.
on!
no,
It's going to be well into the teens.
So
I think this is totally possible.
our kids eat
Come
what
on,
we eat.
guys. We
No,
can figure
we're
this
not
out.
gonna eat
There's
Donut
4
Friday.
intelligent men here. I
Yeah.
think we can figure this out. I'm just saying.
I've taught my girls that if they eat their meat, like whether it's steak or chicken or whatever we have in front of us, like they'll get strong. So they'll
Okay.
they'll eat chicken. Like, God, I finished my chicken. Like, feel my muscles, flex. Like, so they realize, like, if I eat meat, I'm gonna get strong, big and strong. So they correlate that. So our kids eat what we eat.
Can you imagine, like, take a
they
step
eat
back and think of what Mulvaney's kid would be like? Like, listen, Maggie, you're going to eat bacon and olive oil for breakfast every day until you're 3.
There's
Stop asking for a goddamn
there's
piece
nothing
of
wrong
bread.
with a shot of olive oil to start your day. It is a great dose of healthy fats. And if you have a little left, you just rub it in your hair.
Donut, schmona.
And I'm not even
Jackass.
Italian. I know that. So
Yeah. But no, I think it's, you do the best you can.
Yeah.
Show up and listen. Like you say, those 15 minutes driving your kid to school. Like my wife doesn't get the opportunity to drive our daughters to much. Because that's what I'm like, no, I'll take them. The one day I did 6 trips back and forth to Bethlehem
Jesus.
for different things for my girls. But that 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back is an hour I get one-on-one with one of them.
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3. Like, I'm going to go to the grocery store. Who wants to come along? Take one. Would it be easier if I do it by myself? Hell yeah, it would. But if 3 were to come along and walk to the grocery store, I'm doing it.
Yeah. Gotta get that quality time.
That's 30 or 45 minutes, even if they're pissy and fighting or they're upset or they had a bad day, you still get that time with them.
Yeah.
And we all know you don't get time back. So if you're not making
And you only
time,
have so many years until you're not excited.
dude, once they're in their teens, like you're the worst enemy.
My daughter's 10 years old, and I'm already, like, we have an amazing relationship, but I'm already getting to the point that before, I wouldn't want to be away on a weekend, because I'm going to miss something.
Nope.
I don't want her to experience something I don't get to watch her smile about. But now it's getting to the point that I can go do, like, this trip for a week I never spent more than 2 to 3 days without being so miserable, not being around my daughter. That trip to North Carolina was the first trip that I had more of a purpose being there than I had a concern of not being home.
Right.
And she understood and values and appreciates what her dad does for people.
She learned more by you going there and doing
Yeah.
that than she would have learned if you would have stayed home.
Yeah.
And I think that was powerful for her age too,
Yeah.
because like at 10 years old, it's like you recognize the fact that your dad was making a sacrifice, and he did not want to have to miss his daughter or miss his wife and miss his family.
She went through her whole room too, went through all her stuffed animals. She's got a million of them.
Yep.
And I had a big old bag of all of, like, these little
She
stuffed
donated
animals.
her old toys.
And when I called her, because I told her, I said, hey, you want to help out, whatever? Oh, yeah, Dad, absolutely. So she put this whole bag, and then the first night I called her, I said, I'm all set up, my tent's set up, I met some people. I said, boy, it's a mess down here, buddy. Dad's got to do some good stuff. And she goes, did you get my stuff away yet? Did you find kids to get
No.
I'm like, nope, but it is on the top of the list, bud.
That's awesome.
Was that,
so
did
cool.
her stuff
So
go to
cool.
that big donation
Yeah.
day that I saw you post about?
Yeah.
Okay, that was cool.
There wasn't many kids down there.
Yeah, that's something we do with our daughters every year before Christmas. Like we always say, all right, here's a garbage bag for each of you. Fill it up with stuff you don't use.
Yeah.
We're gonna get before you get your presents from Santa.
Yeah.
You need
I
to
love
make
that.
room.
Because there's a lot of families struggling out there.
So
Why
you
not?
take those bags and then donate or you find
Could you
them
teach
you
that
need.
to my wife with the dog toys? Because that'd be great.
Reva could never have enough toys.
No.
I'm on Reva's
Do
side.
not
Scott.
align with my wife.
I'm
No.
sorry.
You're supposed to throw out right now.
I am.
Yeah,
I will
I
grow
don't
out
take anything away from my boxer.
until
What
no,
the
I have a
hell?
boxer.
I was
I had a
expecting
dog.
a full
I have a
alignment
boxer
right
too.
there.
Me and my daughter in my boxer,
Yeah.
we're like 3 peas in a pod.
I will say, Kristen triple checked with me in the past 24 hours about trying to plan the girls' night. She's like, do you need me to leave Reva's, Brian, bringing the dog? And I'm like, I always tell the guys it's dog friendly. I mean, I would like the dogs to be able to play. And then I was like, let me check. And when you said no, she's like, obviously Reva.
All right. So next time if you're bringing your boxer, I'll bring mine.
I'd love to. Yeah, she's
I'll
awesome.
bring both of mine.
No, the dogs,
Awesome.
dogs
You have a
need to
boxer?
be able to tire each other out.
No, I have a Bernese Mountain Dog and
Oh,
yeah.
a
Yeah, they're
Golden
great,
Mountain Doodle.
No,
Nice.
this property is all dog friendly.
Yeah.
I've always supported that.
Yeah,
So.
we're boxer fanatics.
Yeah.
And it's the only way to tire
I'm
your
a
dog
dog
out.
fanatic.
If you
Yeah.
got to have what do you want to call it? Puppy play day, dog, whatever. They need to tire each other out. Let them run around, be a bunch of spazoids, whatever. So.
Hey, speaking of lady, we gotta wrap this shit up. We
We
got
are.
cigars.
Yeah, I would say we're
No,
gonna-
I'm saying.
It's
So let's
about-
close it out.
It's about cigar 30 here. My
It
watch.
is.
The guy
All right.
died an
So
hour
we need to
ago.
close the show out historically. Well, the history of the show is final legacy level messaging. It doesn't have to be anything high level like that, but it's like obviously we rocked an hour tonight. We already hit on some very important notes, right? Charity, giving back. being there for your family, being there for your children, etc. Chris, we'll let you close out last. Rob, how do you want to close out today's show? How do you want to help people listening to this kind of get ready? Because we're going to air this before the end of the year, but in time for the new year.
I said it before in your show, and it's a rule I follow as well, to help you stick to your goals or resolutions or whatever you want to title them for 2025. Write them down, title it, and then after you're done writing it down, take the time to write a paragraph afterwards of why.
For each point?
Whatever that goal is, whatever that goal is, write it down. And then do something no one does after they write it down. If you wrote it down, you're already 90% above everybody else. Because that last 10%, read it.
To yourself.
Read it.
Yeah.
Write it down, read it, and then you find yourself falling off or not sure why, just pull it back out. Don't forget about it. The more you write, people don't write things down. I'm not talking about typing it. Don't type it.
No.
Don't put it in your phone. Get a pen and a paper and write it down like you learned in elementary school.
You are right. That's basic psychology memorization. They tell you when you write something, there's a connective to that. There's a connection happening to that long-term memory storage, and you will remember it longer because you actually physically put a pen or pencil to paper. It's just whether it be that physical motor skill, whatever it is, there's a direct connection there.
Yeah, my goal is that I'm going to hit here in 2025. Like, they were written down. The big one was written down with a detailed process 3 years ago. I still have the notebook. I wrote it down in. It stays on my desk.
Sweet.
Know right where it's at.
You can go back and reference it at any time.
Still on track.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
Strausser.
That being said, I just bought a really good new journal. I'm a big journal guy,
Me
write
too.
things down.
Yeah, man.
And I was talking to my wife the other day because I got some lofty goals again for 25, trying to get my life in check as I always am doing. And I said, the one thing, I said, you know what I should come up with? I need to come up with a journal that really encompasses, I don't want a weight loss journal. I don't want a diet journal. I don't want a weightlifting journal. I don't want a business journal. I want a journal that's a lifestyle journal that really has bits and pieces. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to build to make a business. I'm trying to do all of it. I want to create the total package. And I started doing some Googling and dicking around on Amazon and stuff and found, I don't remember the name of the damn company, but I found a very good journal that kind of does that for me. So I've already been sitting there writing down, doing exactly what you're talking about.
So you already got those things. You're
Love that.
Yeah, I got it. It's all dialed in.
If you get stuck, you want help to kind of get that stuff out on paper, kind of want to do outside the gym.
What's that?
I help people with their goal setting and
Yeah, he does.
journaling,
Okay.
and
He's good at that.
yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah,
I do that more than I do the gym stuff.
Structuring.
Yeah.
What excuse me, one thing I need too is just accountability partners. That's why
Yeah.
I love stuff like this. I
Yeah.
meet people that are goal oriented. You guys, like when I come to this place, you guys are like the unicorns. I sit around a shit ton of people, love to talk about football, baseball, bitch about their wives, do all this stuff. And I'm sitting there like you guys are literally speaking Japanese to me. I don't give a shit about football, don't care about your wife. I don't care. Like, I'm trying to do something with my life, be the best dad I can be the best business guy I can be, and give something back to this world that we live in that's going to shit. And that type of stuff. That's why I live for this kind of stuff. But the journaling thing, I got that on point. My closing segment, what I would say is North Carolina kind of changed my life this year as far as what I've seen and the things I experienced. And the word that kind of comes to play every time I think about that place is purpose. I feel like I have kind of a different purpose for what I'm doing. I excel and do the best that I can do for myself when I'm not trying to. And it doesn't sound, it sounds awkward, but like we always talk about being organic and when I'm doing things ironically for other people to the extent that I do them, things come back to me at a level that I can't even understand sometimes. So, like, that's the one big thing for people that are out there struggling with stuff. Don't get so, if you are searching and fighting so much for something, you got such a tunnel vision for some things, sometimes you're actually working against it. Sometimes you need to look at the bigger picture and do things for other people and get more involved in other ways, and that stuff comes to you. You search too hard, even like when you're trying to build your business. If I go out and just try to advertise and put a bunch of shit out there, I don't build my business. I don't get a bunch more clients.
No.
But if I give 210% to the little old lady who lives down the street and she's struggling or whatever, and I do something because I care about her, not because I'm trying to, market off of her or whatever, but I do me, all of a sudden I come home and I can't, my phone doesn't stop ringing. Like, Jesus Christ, I just fixed this lady's shower yesterday for nothing and my phone won't stop ringing. Because she talked to everybody under the sun and nobody can believe these things that I did for her. So that's kind of like my 2025, is trying to take some of the things that I've seen, not sweating. I never sweat the little shit, but we all do to some extent. But I'm certainly going to sweat it even less, having seen what I've seen, and I'm going to give back even more than I ever did in 2025 and see where it takes me.
Well said, sir. I'll make sure I close this out. I won't put you on the anchor. So, what do you want to leave behind?
Well, I
Hop up to the mic.
have no words of wisdom right now, but what I will say is
All words are wise. Well,
something that really resonated with me tonight was Brian mentioned it earlier. Driving your kids to school, spending that 15 minutes with them. That's something that, I'll be honest, it fucking annoys the shit out of me driving the kids to school sometimes, because I have enough going on, and driving the kids to school, there's 5 of them. It's 2 different trips back and forth. But I kind of take that for granted, and those are times you're right, I'm never gonna fucking get them back, right? So
Donut Fridays, right, or whatever.
Well,
Donut Wednesdays, Tuesdays, whatever days it is.
I'm probably not gonna start Steak Fridays right now, but Donut Fridays will probably work. So
It's okay. Don't follow my path right away. Just slide it in when it's ready, okay? I feel like it's meant to be. It's fine. I think the kids are going to benefit.
they will. Yeah. No, but that was tonight was my first night here. I don't know if everybody knows that, but
Yeah.
no, it was beneficial. It was nice getting to meet you guys, and truthfully, a lot of things that you said tonight about the kids really resonated with me, and I'm gonna take that to heart. I'm gonna use it. So
Yeah, one thing just to hit on that before you wrap everything up. One of the things I was thinking about, like people tell me, like say stuff about what I do, and I said the difference between a lot of people. I said I don't do what people tell me to do. I don't do what the average person does. I do what's right. Like that's what I do. And the one thing that I do, which is sometimes just as negative as it is positive, is I rarely have myself, which is not a good thing all the time, but I rarely have myself in my decision-making process. So like when I hear something like that, because I'm such a kid fanatic, and I don't hold anybody, I'm not out to judge anybody. I love this dude. Like I'm so close to him on such a weird level, like because of what he does, how he does it, and I love his meat, but and he's not into kids at all. He's the polar opposite of but I respect that because I don't want somebody to have kids that don't do things with them. But my thing for you is, because we all deal with things in our head, is it's not about what's annoying you about getting them 2 different times. It's about what's it doing for them. That you only have X amount of years, and those kids are gone, they're going to do their thing.
no, you're absolutely right.
Think about that with Dad. Dad always took the time to just run me. When they get older, what they're going to say is, man, it's fucking annoying running my kids to school back and forth twice, whatever. Dad did it all the time. And they're like,
They take that shit for granted. Yeah.
and that's why I do. I don't care how much something sucks. Like it's not even a process in my head, because I'm so over the top with my kid, like awkwardly, that if my daughter, today I went to a church service, my wife goes, what are you going there? You're dropping her off, whatever, you got stuff to do. I said, because she wants me there. Did I want to be there? Not a matter, did I? Yeah, I did kind of want to be there. But what I wanted to be there for, and I made sure, when I was leaving, when she came in, she didn't see me, and I was sitting in a weird spot, and I knew the way she was walking out. I stood at that back of that church when she walked out, and I gave her a knuckle bump when she went back to school.
Nice.
Only that she knew Dad showed up when he said he was going.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's amazing what that does to them. It's amazing what it does. It will shape their entire life with that shit.
I feel that, if we had to sum it up, I think that's like in anything in life, whether it be in business, personal, family, marriage, dating, entrepreneurship, or just working for a company. People want to see you show up in life. They don't always put it into words, but they'll respect you more, they'll love you more, and I'll go back to respect again, they'll respect you more. cannot fathom not showing up in life. I think each of you can probably agree with that in a different way, how you guys live your lives, how you run your businesses. But it's like, if you have to think back at career, jobs, I've had a lot of jobs in my life. I've had a lot of career changes in my life, being the firefighter and everything else in the past. Like, you know, that career choice changed me forever, and that's why I tattooed duty, respect, and integrity on my ribs, because that was our firefighting motto. But it's like, I now channel that everything into the charity. That's why Brian's on the board of my charity, right? That's why I wrote the book and everything, podcasts, all the shit. It's just because eventually enough of this stuff hit me hard enough where it's like, okay, I need to just, if nothing else, I could record this show and 5 people could listen, or 5,000 people can listen. But if somebody gets something positive out of these words being shared, yes, there's profanity included. Enjoy. I don't filter. I don't believe in filtering in life. But if people can take positivity out of the content we share and do something better in their lives or somebody else's lives, I'm not just thankful, I'm grateful. I mean, we can be grateful for North Carolina. We can be grateful for the charity. We can be grateful for the financial successes we've had in our lives and our careers and our relationships, to create the freedoms to help others, whatever that may be. But in the end, I don't give a shit what other people think about me. I give a shit what I think about myself. And I'm thankful for the people that I've aligned myself with, the people that I welcome into my home, into my barn, to eat my meat and hang out. Because we had to bring that back in one more time. To just be thankful and grateful for what we're doing in this world. So, and that's how we're going to close the shows out, ladies and gentlemen, with a little laughter, a little flag back to Mulvaney's meat in your mouth, and please do kindness unto others as you finish out this show with us.
Please like and subscribe.
And yes, please like and subscribe. And yes, vegans, you can like and subscribe too, because you too deserve Mulvaney's meats. And I'm going to close out the show with that funny.
You know what I'm doing next?
We got to go smoke some cigars and go to Fire, guys. Have a great night. Merry Christmas, because I do believe in that. Happy New Year, because I believe in that too. And I wish you a successful 2025 ahead. Thanks for hanging with another Men of Mindset. Mouthful. And to another mouthful. Again, shout out to Jen Graver of Graver Farmstead, the best grass-fed beef known to man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. And again, you too can live the fuel. That's good soon.
He's like spitting on his mic now.
I'm losing it. It's great. I gotta go set the video up. It's awesome. We're here to entertain, ladies and gentlemen.
So we're not sure what you gained out of that, but
We're not here to gain.
I'm pretty sure.
We're here to